Hello, today I will be explaining how to play Renown Heroes. So the game starts with each player selecting from the pool of heroes available. This will take place in a snake draft of sorts, so that no one player will be completely cheated out of potentially having the heroes they want, and to introduce a bit more spice. So now, since this is a draft, you won't always get every single hero that you want, so it'll introduce a bit of variety, and replayability to this game, being able to use different strategies each time. Let's just pretend that I've got a couple characters for myself over here. So, to start combat, as any player will do, you will roll this 10-sided die, and then you'll get the encounter of which it corresponds to on the spreadsheet. Now, in this case, that would be 5 goblins. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, to start combat, a player would take their turn. Each character gets one action. Now, let's assume that I'm just going to take some of these dice, move them over here. And we're going to need all these dice in a minute. So the way combat works is very similar to a warlike kind of fashion. So one character will declare an attack. So let's say this lord wants to attack this goblin over here. So the lord has 5 offense. They will roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice and roll these. Their attacks. On a 4 or greater, an attack will deal 1 damage. For each die above a 4, you get 1 damage. So in this case, only 1 die rolled above 4, so only 1 damage is going to go through. The goblin then has a chance to dodge the attack by rolling this 20-sided die. So if they got a natural 20 in other games, that would be a critical success. In this game, that just means that they're going to dodge the attack. Now, let's for instance say that instead of a 20, they rolled underneath this 12 dodge stat. They rolled a 2, which that means they rolled underneath the number they needed to fully dodge the attack, which means they're going to get hit. Let's just say, for the argument's sake, that this character is doing 2 damage instead. Now the goblin will attempt to defend against this attack, or their armor is going to try and block some of the damage. They're going to roll both of their defense dice, or however much their defense stat equals. They will roll this. On a 5 or greater, a defense die will block 1 damage, down to a minimum of 1 point. Since they did not block any damage, this goblin will then take 2 damage. Since it has 3 health, we'll just take this. It will then instead have 1 health remaining. And that you can use those little counters to display that. Now, combat will basically progress like this down the line, and each character will have 1 turn to do so, to make their attacks and whatnot. Then the enemies will go back and forth until the encounter is defeated. Now let's say you win this fight or whatnot. Next you will come over to level up. You'll then get you won't come straight to level up. You'll get XP for this fight. Now goblins will produce an amount of XP. That would be, goblins will produce 100 XP for each one. So since we defeated 5, we're going to get 500 XP. Now let's just pretend for a moment that I was using the thief, since I have their skill sheet here. Now, for each breakthrough of level up points, you will get a level. Now since I got 500 XP, I will land right around here. So I got 3 levels that I can apply in any fashion that I like to my characters. So let's just say instead of having the Lord, I have the Thief. Now, I really believe in the Thief class, and I think that they're going to be really good for me later on. So I'm going to put as many points into the Thief as I can. So I'm going to take them all the way from level 0 to level 3 right away. So I would generally use just a die from over here to signify that they're on level 3. Now, let's see what this does. Now, level 1 grants the ability, decrease target's defense stat by 1 for the rest of the fight, with a 2-turn cooldown. That can be really good. Say, for instance, there's a really long fight and there's something with a big defense stat. For instance, maybe this final boss who has 6 defense. That's a lot of potential damage that they can just block right outright. So, decreasing that defense means they're not going to be able to decrease any damage that they might take and they'll only have the chance to dodge. That could be really good. Next, they're going to get an increased defense. That could also be really good. That means they're going to block some more. They're going to have a chance to block some more damage, up to a defense of 5. Finally, level 3, increase dodge stat by 3. Now, in this case, that's going to lower their dodge stat from 12 down to, say, 9. So now, on this 20-sided die, whenever they're attacked, they only need to roll a 9 or higher, look at that, to, in fact, dodge the attack. That could be really good. That's a lot of damage potentially just avoided altogether. And let's look at this. Grant stat bonus offense by 2. That means they're going to roll 2 more dice whenever attacking, and that's going to grant them a lot more opportunities to deal damage. Now, all of these tokens, all these bags are filled with tokens such as these, so that on the fly, you can place these on top of your characters so that you can easily change what their offense stat might be. So they had a 4, that's increased by 2, so instead their offense is going to go up to 6. Now you can easily see that, just like that, and you can move around with it, which is very helpful. Now, each player will have to keep track of what their total party level is. Once you reach party level 5, you are allowed to take on the Warlord. This is the final boss of this game, and you will be able to attack them once you hit level 5. Now, this character is going to really be a tough challenge for an underpowered party, and if you do not defeat them, you're out of the game. So you want to make sure you've got enough power to fully take this guy on before really attempting this fight. Now, he has a special ability. At the start of his turn, he's going to roll this 20-sided die. On a 15 or higher, 15, there we go, an 18. On a 15 or higher, activate this ability in place of attacking. This will target a random party member and reduce a random stat of the party member by 1 for the rest of the encounter. So, we're going to roll this 4-sided die. On a 4, we'll just re-roll it. How about that? 2. So he's going to target the Squire. So, he is going to target the Squire with his Drain ability. Now he's going to roll this 4-sided die once again. He got a 4. So he's going to lower the Squire's defense by 1 for the remainder of this fight. So let's say he's at 4 defense right now. He's at 4 defense at the moment. Well, not anymore. Now he's going to be down to 3 defense for the remainder of the fight, and so on, until this enemy is defeated, and in which case they would regain their stat points if the game would to continue. At the moment, this is the final boss. You beat him, you win the game. That's game over. So it doesn't really matter if your stats go back to normal afterwards. Outside of that, after combat, after a normal encounter, any damage characters take will stay in effect. However, characters will heal up half of their total hit points. So say the thief had taken 8 points of damage and the Squire had taken like 4. The Squire could heal a maximum of 6, so that'll bring him back up to 12. The thief can also only heal a maximum of 6, but since he took 8 damage, he's going to be at 10 health. So he's not going to have as much health as what you need him to have going into the next fight. So that makes things a little trickier as well. Do you want to take on that final boss while you're still damaged? Or do you want to try and get something easier and regain health and make sure you can have a higher health total when going in? That also makes healing characters, such as maybe the Paladin or the Priest or the Warlock, very useful in being able to sustain their health, that limited health pool. And that, I believe, would cover everything in the basics to get started with this game. I hope you enjoy.